Hi everyone! Today I want to share how to make this cute little tea holder. I'm using a specialty paper called Just Add Color, and I really love this paper. It's heavy and you can add color with many different mediums because it's so heavy. And it can take watercolor, which is my favorite. That's how I did this one. I love using my aqua painter and my ink from the lids of my ink pads. But it'll also take our new Stampin Blends, which is a new favorite of mine as well. Or you can use the watercolor pencils on a blender pen or the aqua painter or straight markers, and it'll work for all of those. And there's some fun patterns in here. So we've got the tea pots and teacups, watering cans and flowers, a little village. You can color the houses and make a really fun welcome to the neighborhood or moving card. Some aquatic animals, those are really fun. Feathers, really pretty. And lastly, these really pretty leaves. That would make a background really beautifully on a card, wouldn't it? You can do all different shades of greens. Anyway, so then we're back to teacups. So you get 2 of each, and it's a really fun paper. It's in the annual catalog. So look at the annual catalog, Just Add Color for that. Now this one I did watercolor, so this one I've decided I'm going to do the new Stampin Blends. I'm really enjoying using those. Now to make the box, we're using a die, and it's called Lots of Labels, and we're going to use the largest die. So I've selected my little teapot. I'm not going to use the teacup. I'm going to save it for later. So I'm just going to color in this one. And here I used Lucky Limeade and some of the new colors. I've got all the in colors on here. I've got Tranquil Tide, Lucky Limeade, Berry Burst, and Fresh Fig. The only one I don't have on here, it's not Lucky Limeade, is it? It's Lemon Lime Twist. I keep calling it Lucky Limeade because we had a color called Lucky Limeade a while back, and I keep calling this one that, but it's not. It's Lemon Lime Twist. Okay, so we're going to use, for this one, I'm in love with this ribbon that I got out recently for another card. And I'm going to use this. So this is navy, so I've decided to use navy and Daffodil Delight and Smoky Slate. I've been keeping my blends in a stamp case. Did you know that we sell the stamp cases? We do, and I can't get all the blends in there, but I've got 2 cases. And I've got my blends in there. Get out my color lifter just in case as well. Okay. So I'm going to color a few pieces of it with the speed on regular speed, and then I'm going to fast forward a bit because, you know, and probably you don't want to watch me do every little detail. So I'm going to start with my navy. And what I like to do, there's a nib end and a brush tip. I like to start with my brush tip on some of the bigger areas, and I like to start with my lighter. Everybody's got a different opinion on this one. Some people like to start and do the dark areas first. I like to go over the whole thing with the light first. And I work in smaller areas because you don't want it to be completely dry when you add the darker area. So I'm going to do the lid, for example, and I'll stop with the line of the lid before going on to something else. Okay, now I'm going to grab the darker. You want to go ahead and cap this every single time that you use it. Don't just leave the lid off because these are alcohol markers, and alcohol, as you know, evaporates fast. So even though you think, I'm going to go right back to that light, cap it anyway. So I'm just adding some dark areas. And then I'm going to go back over again. This time I'm going to use the nib end and work in a circular fashion. Right at the line where I had the dark and light meet. Okay. Now, you might have noticed that when I started, I went outside the lines. There's something called a color lifter. It doesn't actually lift, but what it does is pushes. So you can go ahead, I'm going to use the nib end. Actually, I'm going to use the brush end. And I'm going to go over this little area here where I kind of went outside the line. Now, in reality, I'm going to cut this teapot out. So having this line super sharp is not a huge deal. So there we go. Pushing it through there. That'll dry up a little bit and make that line a little sharper. But see, the ink is not on my tip, so it's not absorbing the ink. Okay, so that's the lid. Now another thing you can do with the color lifter, I should have done it while I had it, is I'm going to open the nib end, and let's say this is a shiny porcelain teapot. You want to add a little highlight. You could take this and go back and forth like this and see how it's adding that little area of white, like a little shine. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep working, and then I will come back to show you what it looks like when I'm done. So here I used a little bit of the light smoky slate to add just a little bit of color to this background. And then I'm using the color lifter to blend away that harsh line. I didn't want to go with the dark and light versions of the smoky slate. I wanted just the light version. So it just adds a little bit more color to the background. And it's just a fun little way to add the gray touches. There. So you can kind of see that what I did here with the smoky slate. So it's just a little shadowing there. Okay, so now I'm going to cut it out and then we'll put it together. I'm going to fast forward the cutting out as well. Sometimes you can leave the handle insides and things, but I'm going up against a Night of Navy and I thought it would stand out more, so I decided to go ahead and cut it out. This one might be silly, you might want to leave that one. I'll see how it works. Okay, and now for the box. So you're going to start with a piece of cardstock, and I've cut this. This is 8.5, so it's the width of a piece of cardstock. And then I've cut it at 2 3/4. The largest of the label framelits is 2 I think 7/8. So I need to cut it a little bit smaller than that. And what you're going to do is you're going to go in through the back. So if you'd put it on top to cut the nice edge, you'd end up cutting here as well. We don't want to do that. We only want to cut the top edge. So you're going to put it in like this and make sure it's nice and straight. And you have to do one side at a time. So we're going to okay, looks good. Now when you run it through your Big Shot, what you're going to do is you don't run it all the way through because you don't want the impression of this bottom of the framelit to come through the cardstock, and you really only need to cut up to here. So when you start cranking it, when it gets up to here, just stop and crank it back out the other way. So go in a little bit till you know it's past there, and then come back out. And it's okay if you go back all the way to here because there's nothing underneath here. It doesn't start until after way down here. So you can crank it. And I will come right back. So there, isn't that a really pretty top? So you're just going to turn it around and do the same thing on this side. I thought I would show you what I mean by only going in a little bit. So I'm going to crank it forward a little bit, and then I'm going to just crank it back. Okay, now when I had this piece, I should have told you that I scored it at 4 and then again at 4.5. So then you have two 4-inch sides with the 1/2 inch little piece in the center. So that is gonna make your holder. So now to keep the little bags of tea from falling out the sides, I've made these little sides, and this is just 2 inches tall by 1.5 inches here, and then you score at 1/2 inch and then 1 inch, giving you these little 1/2 inch flaps. And I've gone ahead and put some sticky tape here. Now you want a strong adhesive because this is going to hold something. So a good adhesive to use would be the tear tape. I've used some retired sticky strip that I'm using up, but tear tape is great. It's really strong, or fast fuse is really strong. And you're just going to go ahead and place these along the inside. So you're going to put your adhesive on the flaps. Stick into my hand, and then place them on the insides of the box. Now I like to take my bone folder, and go through and just burnish those strips, those little tabs, just to make sure that they are nice and tight. And there is your base of the box. And now just to decorate it a little bit, I have this really fun Wood Textures Designer Series paper, and you probably have it too. It's a really popular paper right now, and you know, with all my projects I always end up with these little scraps. So I thought one of these little pieces of wood scrap might make a nice little base here for a table. So I'm going to go ahead and cut myself a scrap. And that was 2 3/4. So I'm just going to cut that, and there is my little table for my tea, and also a doily. And I always have cut up doilies, so I just cut a little bit of doily right there, and then the tea is going to go right on top of that, the little teapot. And you can cut a few of these from one doily, because you can go and cut off an end here. I think you can get about 3, another one there and another one there, and go ahead and adhere these down. Oh, that's so cute. The teapot's going to go right on top, and I'm going to use dimensionals to pop it up just a little bit. Now that I know where this is going to lie, I'm going to stick another little dimensional right behind there. Cute. Now that beautiful ribbon. So I'm going to use a hole punch and go through both of these layers at the same time. Now I'm going to make a little bit of this ribbon. Isn't that beautiful ribbon? I just love it. And I had it ever since it came out, and the new catalog came out in June, and just never used it. And then all of a sudden I used it on a card, and now I just need to have more and more rolls of this. Okay, so now I'm going to use a little bit of white, or you can use some baker's twine. I think I'll use baker's twine. I love baker's twine, and just so you know, baker's twine is on the clearance rack right now, the thick white. You might want to grab some. It's always good to have. I just love baker's twine. I use it constantly, and the clearance rack was updated recently. And there's quite a few colors of baker's twine. It's mostly the thick baker's twine, but I love it anyway, and that would be perfect for this project. I want to make a little tag. I forgot. I went through my stamp sets and I found some really fun ones. This one is Sending Warm Thoughts, and this is from the Hug in a Mug set, which is in the Christmas catalog, the holiday catalog that ends in just a couple days. December no, actually January 2nd is the last day to order from the holiday catalog, and that's where this Sending Warm Thoughts comes from. And I thought maybe some of you will be watching this a few weeks from now and won't be able to get that anymore, although if you can get it, grab it. That's a really fun set, Hug in a Mug. But I found I have plenty of sets that say things like enjoy or for you or thanks. This one says with love. So I just grabbed a little scrap and I'm going to stamp in navy. Now you can see that I didn't put it in the center. I'm biasing it down slightly because I'm going to put a hole in there. Oh, let's put the tea in first. So this will hold several packets of tea, and depends on the kind you buy. So I've got, this is my favorite, lemon ginger. I love anything ginger, and I like Irish breakfast. I think you can get about 4 in there. 4 might be tight. Let's stick with 3. Okay. So I'm a little bit scatterbrained today. Thanks for bearing with me. I have a slight cold and my kids are home from school for a Christmas break, and I'm a little bit crazy. But I wanted to get some videos done as I haven't done any in a while. And there's just so much to share coming up with Celebration. That starts on January 3rd. And I just have so many projects that I've made them already and haven't made videos for. Getting a little backlogged, so I thought I would see if I can make one today. I just think that is so cute. Okay, let's tie this a little tighter. Make the bow. So this would be a good gift for someone you know who's sick, or a coworker, or a teacher. A really nice little thing of tea. If you're having a party, a shower, Mother's Day, whatever, you can make a bunch of these and put them out on the table for people to take. That would be nice. So I'm going to make these shorter, which means I'm wasting this beautiful ribbon, which makes me a little sad. There. Okay. Super fun and cute. I hope that you like it. And check back soon. I've got so many videos coming on Celebration. But again, this is from the annual catalog. You can get this now. And check out the Just Add Color paper. And then you can color with your favorite coloring method. You can use aqua painters, blends, markers, pencils, however you like to color. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.